12 rounds is going down with our body bars. Weak channel, stand with a bodyguard. Talk Nation, welcome back everybody. Please give this video a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to the channel by not turning on notifications. And when these videos come out and you guys don't watch these videos as they come out, that actually hurts the channel. Everybody loves to get new subscribers, but for smaller channels, in order for them to grow, we need you guys to not only subscribe, but also turn on notifications. It not only helps the channel, but it tells YouTube that this channel has people involved with it that wants this channel to grow. Now, on to some boxing. The legends have spoken. The legends continue to speak. Roy Jones Jr., James Toney, Mike Tyson, Gennady Golovkin, and guess what? The list goes on. Best fighters, also trainers, have given their opinions and thoughts on the potential, possibly upcoming Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. unification undisputed welterweight championship matchup. Now I'm gonna give y'all a semi-quote. You guys can go to Boxing 24/7. I believe it's Boxing News 24/7. I'm gonna link the article in the description so you guys can check it out in total. But I'm gonna give you a partial read of what Roy Jones said when he made the initial comment. He said, Roy Jones Jr. says Terence Crawford could take Errol Spence out within 6 rounds. If the Texan native isn't on his game the night of the fight, it could be over. Verbatim. So if you guys want to check out the full article, the link is in the description. He still has quote unquote exclamation marks because the accident. He thinks that mentally, even Freddie Roach, he also made comments about this in the past. Like they're not sold, even though Errol's won his last 2 fights after the accident, they still believe that something may be off. And a fighter like Terence Crawford, with his superb and supreme and elite skills, he can expose whatever they may see. Now, Danny Garcia fight was a good fight. Danny Garcia, in my opinion, he stood in front of Errol Spence too much. He got basically picked apart with the jab. Later rounds of the fight, he tried to, try to rally a little bit, try to come back, but at that point it was too late. Errol Spence was up on the scorecards, and if you looked at Danny Garcia's face, the tail of the tape would pretty much lead everybody to believe that he got beat up in the fight, and he did. He got picked apart by Errol Spence's jab. Dennis Ugas put on a pretty good fight, hurt Errol Spence in that fight, but Dennis Ugas didn't possess the killer instinct to finish Errol Spence off once he got hurt and he flew into the ropes. If that was Bud Crawford would have swarmed on Errol Spence at that point. Errol Spence would have been right in the high guard, and he would have started blocking, because that's how explosive Terence Crawford is, and he's also fast, especially when he hurts you, because it's instinctive. He doesn't think about it. As soon as Terence Crawford hurts his opponent and the opportunity is there, he swarms on it. That switch gets flipped, and he's on him, like a bee to honey. So that's the difference in caliber between an Ugas and a Crawford, or Danny Garcia and a Crawford. 2 good fighters, potentially, as far as Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia, he is a pretty great fighter. He's still fighting, has a fight coming up. He's still, in his opinion and his words, he's still trying to pursue greatness. Ugas is not a great fighter in my opinion. Ugas is a very good fighter. He beat Manny Pacquiao, but I still believe that Manny Pacquiao was kind of set up in that fight, because Manny Pacquiao was mentally, physically, and spiritually prepared and getting prepared for Errol Spence. And Ugas, he threw a monkey wrench and everything. But the competitor that Manny Pacquiao is and was at that particular time, he said, you know what, I'm not backing out. I don't want to take a lesser fight. If this is the guy who you guys want me to fight, I'm a fighter. Moving on. Ugas, Danny Garcia, they don't hold a candle to what Terence Crawford can bring when he faces Errol Spence. Errol Spence, the jab is a problem. But Terence Crawford also has a good jab. Terence Crawford has excellent defensive skills. Terence Crawford, he knows how to move laterally, and he knows how to fight and move off of the back foot and also counter. A prime example to that is when he fought Gamboa. The things that Errol Spence can do, I just don't think, and I mean, this is in my opinion, I don't think it's going to be enough, especially going towards the later rounds of the fight, as Terence Crawford starts to download the information that Errol Spence is putting out round by round. I'm not knocking Errol at all. To a degree, I do believe it's a 50-50 fight, but I do believe skill-wise, there are certain intangibles that Terence Crawford brings to the fight, and if he executes on the night of the fight, he will be successful. When I speak about these fighters, when I talk about and break down these fights, I'm not only doing it from a fighter standpoint or a fan standpoint. I like to do it, and sometimes, to be honest with y'all, man, I like to think about it if I was a trainer. If I was a trainer, what am I looking at in a guy that my fighter is about to face? What does he do good? What does he do bad? What does he do okay that he could possibly improve on and bring that into the fight and use against my guy? Now, Terence Crawford, he does a lot. He does a lot. So it's hard to prepare for a fighter like that. Errol Spence, his game is a lot more basic. The equalizer for Errol Spence is his power. Although he may be basic, the power that he generates behind those basic shots, his right hook, his jab, especially when he executes his body attack, he executes these things from a standpoint of being a master of the basics. Because a lot of fighters, they fall into these traps, and when they start getting hit with shots, it's kind of like mentally they shut down, and it's like a deer in the headlights, and they find themselves covering up instead of moving or instead of wrapping up. Now, I don't understand why when Errol Spence gets guys on the ropes, number one, you should be trying to cover up. Number two, you should be trying to move to your left, to your right. If you're not smart enough to cover up, move out the damn way.